Welcome everyone. My gosh, I am really freaking stoked this morning because we're about to start the first of our free 5-day men's masterclass program on behalf of Mental Health Awareness Week. Normally I'm not that excited about giving away free stuff, but as this is part of our Rejuvenate program where we build from a Rejuvenate, teaching individuals, onto a Rejuva whole nation as we spread our messages of improving men's health and well-being throughout their middle age. So, sorry, I think got the music in the background there. That's an old hard tune. I think it was the one after their most sort of famous tune on Take On Me. So if I went the point is, when you can see that tune, whatever it is, let me turn this down here, should trigger your memory from that tune. And even though I think it was about 39 years ago, most of you will remember just that little tune from Aha, Take On Me. Does it mean you love the tune? Does it mean you were a great fan of Aha? Does it mean that you saw them during the 80s in concerts or anything else? Although maybe some young women did or something like that, or not so young now. But the point is, as we start to get into our first lesson, is there's the difference between our longer term memory, where we can remember a tune like Aha, for example, whether you liked it or not necessarily the point, 39 years ago, but we are at the stage, regrettably, where we can't remember what that blimmin' guy's name is who we met 8 minutes ago. So what on earth is going on there? Well, give me a minute and I will try and explain and see how we can use some of those long-term memory concepts to actually improve our shorter-term memory, which we're going to focus on a bit more today. So my name's Dave Ferguson. I'm the founder of the Integrated Martial Arts Method, and we exclusively work with middle-aged men to help them improve their physical health and well-being, reducing and managing some of those core health risks that the majority of us will face throughout our midlife. So I said today we're going to talk about memory in particular. So with memory, you're talking, this is me keeping fairly basic. I'm not going to go into too much deep theoretical underpinnings because over the 5 days, we want these sessions to be nice and punchy and action orientated. And then we'll put the whole 5 days together that you can use as a package throughout this week, where we're celebrating mental health awareness, but throughout the whole month of May, for those that are joining live, and for those that are going to get the recordings, delayed recordings, it will be throughout the month of June or possibly even July. So when we talk about memory, in a basic way, you're talking about 3 stages: the encoding process through the environmental stimulus, the storage, where that information is stored, various parts of the brain. Again, I'm not going to go into too much details there. And then how we actually retrieve that message. So I am looking outside at the moment, and I'm seeing plants and flowers and trees and my shed and plant pots and grass and a door slightly open and all that information. I kind of know most of it already anyway, so it's slightly different compared to new information. So some of that's already stored, but even now there's some immediate storage and information going on there, because even the weather may be different every day. So I'm picking up some of that information, storing to particular parts of my brain, and then I'll be able to retrieve that information and share it with you through my verbal language. And when we talk about memory, again, being fairly basic, we're talking about your working memory, short-term memory and long-term memory. So we touched on at the beginning how we can remember tunes. Sting's on at the moment in the background there. Every little thing you do is magic, and every little thing he does is magic, and every little thing she just turns me on, and all that sort of stuff. And I just remember all them words. Not a bad tune actually, kind of got that reggae kind of beat, but it's not the point of whether I like it or not. It's already in the longer term storage part of my brain, pretty much locked in there. I'm going to say for eternity, but you've got to be careful. But yeah, 39 years ago, can remember it really easy. Come downstairs, forgot what I was looking for. Okay, so we're going to focus on that short-term memory. So now, even as middle-aged men, we do face a loss of brain matter, what we call brain atrophy, through our white matter loss around our late 30s up to early 40s. So we kind of all know that, and that's linked to the, my God, I can't remember what I said, what I came downstairs for, can't remember that guy's name. That's related to all that. So today we're going to focus on a couple of core exercises that can help improve that short-term memory over the 5-day course and over the whole month of training, hopefully, that you'll be practicing that. You're only talking about a couple of minutes a day, something you can do daily. So let's, without further ado, let's get on with that. So if you see, I'm going to pop up that picture there. It's a classic picture from the 70s experience. And what you're going to do, you're going to be covering that picture there. And then you're going to try and, after you take your hands off it, you're going to try and remember 3 points, 3 things from that picture that you could recollect. And then you're going to do exactly the same exercise again and try and remember at least 7 or 8 particular points from that picture. Okay, it's as simple as that. So you're going to do that at least for a couple of days. Should only take about a couple of minutes. And I'm going to also send you a couple of other images you can use. You can actually take your own images and do that once you've done these a few times. Has to be a relatively rich image, but it doesn't mean it needs millions of complexities in there, but relatively rich in the sense of there's multiple things there, some really obvious and some maybe a little harder to pick up. And that will be just pushing your brain a little bit to remember in some of that short-term memory. And that's pretty much it today. We want to start off with a neurological underpinning because I'm going to let you into a couple of secrets and a learning point in a second as well. If you get your brain right, if you start to optimize how well your brain works on a daily basis, everything will get a little easier. It is the most complex organ in the universe. Forget an exploding star, forget a neutron, forget the biggest, deepest AI machine. Nothing comes close to that organ in the top of your head. The problem is we don't use it as effectively as we want. People know to get other parts of your body fit and healthy, but you ask them how they get their brain fit and healthy, and most people don't actually know. We change that very much in this program. We start that as the most core, fundamental fact. That's one of the reasons why the first 2 days, including tomorrow, we're going to look into some what we call technical plasticity, but we will actually start get some physical movement tomorrow as well. So you guys that are coming to say, I want bigger muscles, I want a bigger puffed out chest and stuff, and this guy's talking to me about brain health and neurological underpinnings, you're going to get a little bit of that physical activity tomorrow as well. But I think this is a great way to start to slowly improve that short-term memory. And if you do that every day for the 5 days of the program, even after 5 days, you may start to, or I expect you will start to see some slight micro improvements in your short-term memory. And how about that? Is it only me who gets excited about that? Is it only me that gets excited that within 5 days you can start to improve your short-term memory? I don't know. I'm sorry guys, sometimes I have to hold it down a little bit. So, one learning point before we go. The importance of treating that neurological ball of mush well. When it comes to short-term memory, let's look at the example of names. The good news is that information is still there. It hasn't gone. The problem is the process to get it from certain storage areas of your brain to the area where you actually verbalize it is just a little bit frazzled to some extent, but it's still there. Now, if you can't remember something, i.e. a name, and you tell your brain or you tell yourself, oh, my brain's shot to pieces, I can't remember anything anymore, there's no point, I'm not going to ever remember this person's name, your brain will actively stop seeking for that information. If you turn that language around slightly and say, I'm struggling to find the name of that person, but I know that information is there and I will find it, or I'll get back to you in a minute, your brain will then be actively in the background, subconsciously, will be finding that information. You can carry on talking, you could go outside, you can go swimming, you could go get something to eat, you do whatever you want, and in the background your brain is finding that information for you. Again, it's only me that finds that fascinating. Guys, stick with me, okay? So we're going to close off now. What I want to also provide to facilitate and solidify that learning is to provide you with additional information, because it's only a 10-minute session, probably 10 to 15 minutes max most days. So we just want to provide you with some free additional information at the back end of every session. So for today, the free resource will be how to improve your brain health, 10 steps to neurological optimization, and I'll leave that link in the chat, and that will be one of the additional free resources that you'll be able to use today. I don't want to keep you any longer. We're always busy. We've got so much time. We haven't got so much time, sorry. We have to scroll for the next 14 hours looking at cats jumping and making funny noises. We have to watch 8 hours of Netflix. So I know how busy you are, guys. So I won't keep you any longer. Tomorrow we're going to be looking into technical plasticity. So that is still linked to neurological health. And even though we talked about that white matter loss, you still can learn and develop new neurological synaptic connections right up to your 80s. So even though one side's not so great, a little bit of that brain atrophy, that losing of some of that memory capacity, but the other side is we can learn and build brand new neurological connections. Again, for the last time, is it only me that finds that fascinating? Yes, thank you very much. It's not just me. That'll do me. I'm going to let you go now, and I will catch you up tomorrow. Thanks for your time. I hope you got some value and benefit from that. Make sure you practice it at least for the 5 days. At least give the old noggin a chance to get some learning there, for you to see some improvement and some motivation. For those that continue throughout the month, you will see an improvement in your short-term memory. Okay, guys, thanks for your time, and I will see you tomorrow for day 2.